Welcome into the Week 9 recap of the of the NFL weekend. Well, this is Bets and Brewskis. Crack open a cold one with the boys.
Hey,
That was a nice pop
do
there.
it, baby.
Something like a lukewarm Mountain Dew, 0 calorie. So, my name is Elliot Stalkup. I am joined with Brenton Bradford and Matthew Fagley. We're going to be
How you
recapping
doing, baby?
9 games. So I guess, Brenton, you said you were coming in hot with something?
Boys, if you don't mind, I got a grievance to air on the pod.
Yikes.
I
Week
decided
2, here we go.
nothing to do with sports at all. I
I thought you were
decided
gonna-
to cook for the fam tonight. I made a homemade stuffed crust pizza and
Ooh.
some mini calzones to go with it. I go take a shower after it's done cooking. I come up. I don't get a damn slice of stuffed crust pizza. I didn't touch it. All I
How
got
many
were
did you
2
cook for?
mini calzones. I
How
cooked
many
for
people?
4 people plus
4?
me. I will say it was a pretty small pizza, but there's no excuse there wasn't at least one slice left. Anyway, let's get on with it.
That's a tough day. I mean, you bring a tough weekend into a tough night.
Yeah, do we
Yeah.
want to talk about the standings right now? Brenton and I
Yeah,
both with 1 win.
yeah. How are your guys' records? How was that?
Okay, so the Commanders was a stone cold lock all day, and then Kirky K.
Shut the fuck up.
The penalty, I mean, Commanders led the whole game. I mean, +3. I should have got them a +3.5. That's my fault, but it was the side.
If it wasn't for that deep ball from Heineke going to, I think it was McLaurin, and
Yeah.
that ref playing absolutely
Well, that's pretty good.
solid fucking defense against that
Hey,
dude, I don't
MVP.
think it's even close.
He got the game ball.
Who, the ref?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was
Brenton,
a tough push, though.
oh yeah.
I want to issue an apology to my fans.
Yeah, I would too, bub.
Matt was a solid
Clearly,
3-1.
I held out faith
That
for
was
the
in the
Bengals until about 3 minutes into the game. The
See?
Panthers couldn't cover. They couldn't get close.
Yeah.
The
Panthers-
Chargers just had a terrible performance. That's on them.
Well, hey, let's just go through it real quick. So nobody had Colts. Nobody had Colts Pats. I don't think we all said.
You want to start a Thursday night game from last week, or?
Yeah, but none of us had anything on that.
That's
I mean,
true. Well, and the Eagles won. It wasn't even really much of a game. So
yeah.
all right, let's just start with the slate.
So Colts Pats. I think we all said lean Pats, but we didn't take anything on that one.
Thank
No.
God their defense saved me fantasy-wise.
Well, if we're starting with the Colts Pats, we need to talk about the Colts.
Oh, Jesus. Here we go.
It's one of the biggest
dog shit.
It's one of the biggest things in sports right now. I mean,
it's the biggest piece of
the opinion on Jeff Saturday.
All right. So yeah, Frank Reich gets canned. We all kind of saw that one coming. I didn't know it was going to come like fucking 30 minutes after they got blown out, basically, is when all that started cooking. There was a thing that came out that said that Jim Irsay was talking to Jeff Saturday on the phone during the Pats game.
The only thing Jim Irsay was doing was snorting coke and drinking booze during that game.
So what?
Rock on.
He's watching them get fucking murdered. So.
And the Colts even are lucky to have their 3 points that they got.
Colts absolutely get murdered. It was an embarrassing game to watch, to be honest. I actually watched the Packers and Lions game over the Colts game after about midway through the second quarter. So
not really an impressive game either.
I mean, yeah, we'll get to it. So Frank Reich gets canned. Everybody thinks it's either going to be Bubba Ventrone, who is the special teams coordinator, or Gus Bradley, who's the defensive coordinator that's going to be interim. So I was kind of pulling for Bubba Ventrone because I absolutely fucking despise Gus Bradley. And then news comes out about an hour and a half after the firing of Frank Reich that Big 63 Jeffrey Saturday is going to be the interim head coach, and
High school coach.
honestly,
High school coach.
hey, I don't give a single fuck.
He doesn't even. He barely has a winning record in high school.
I don't give a fuck. The dude, I mean, he doesn't have to it's not like he's coming in to call plays or anything.
I would drink myself into liver
They got
cirrhosis if I
somebody
were a
else
Colts
who's
fan.
never called a play either to come in and call plays.
I have no expectations for the Colts at all.
Hell, I'm just gonna drink myself into liver cirrhosis anyway.
When I saw it, I thought this is great because they have no expectation to win. Jeff Saturday's loved by Indianapolis, so he's gonna come in there, fire the boys.
He's loved.
If they get 2 wins the rest of the season, that's a success. I mean, but
hey, don't count out Jeff Saturday. He can rattle off 9 fucking wins here, boys. I'm just saying.
With Sam Ellinger back there, is that what you're saying?
So honestly, I think that now that we've made the move with the coach and we got fucking Parks Frazier calling plays for the first time ever, I think that they should go back to Matt Ryan if he's healthy and you're paying him $40 million. Fucking let him sling the rock around a little bit. If he dies, he fucking dies. Get rid of him next year. The offensive line is absolutely terrible. As long as Jeff Saturday can come in there and remotely fix.
How did the O-line go from God tier to dog shit in 1 year?
We got rid of Mark Lewinsky, went to the Giants. And
are you saying Quentin Nelson's overrated?
And I don't know about that. I just think it's a lot with Matt Ryan coming in and just a bunch of change and Frank Reich absolutely being a terrible coach.
Frank Reich is not a terrible coach.
He's a very bad coach.
An offensive coordinator somewhere.
He's
I
a
would
very
take him
bad
on the
coach.
Bears. Even though we are cooking right now.
The Bears fucking stink, so he's a very bad coach.
Colts right now.
Not by much.
Matt just exits the Skype quickly.
I think it'd be a 3-point spread in favor of the Bears.
I would favor the Bears in that game. Let's move on. You've had your allotted 30 minutes for the fucking Colts already. So.
Hey, sorry. I mean, it was bound to happen.
This was
we
the
had
biggest
to just get it out there. Yeah, it definitely was, but we'll see. I mean, no expectations for the Colts.
I think Jeff Saturday gets the. Go ahead.
I will say, do not bet on the Colts for the rest of the season. Don't. I wouldn't bet against them.
Bet against them. Yes.
No, I don't. I honestly don't know because new head coach coming in, players are going to be playing for their jobs and trying to put good tape out.
Jeff Saturday is there to get the existing Colts fans hard on so they don't leave for other teams. That's all he's there.
Hey, all I'm saying is the Colts could be a sneaky cover team.
All I'm saying is Matt's erect.
I've already hammered plus 5.5 or minus 5.5.
Who?
What?
Who?
The Raiders is 5.5.
You hammered the Raiders minus 5.5.
I wouldn't touch the Raiders. I wouldn't touch the Raiders with a 5-foot pole. I wouldn't even put them money line.
Oh, what are you talking about?
I already hammered the Raiders. Oh, they're okay. The success for the Colts
back in style, boys.
Is if it somehow Jeff Saturday, who's never coached at a college or NFL level, gets all 53 players to the Raiders sideline this week. That would be a success. That's all they're
he's not doing anything but calling timeouts and making sure we're in the right.
He's the head coach. He's responsible for all.
Fellas, as the mediator, we gotta get moving down the slate here, okay?
I agree.
Can't get off on these tangents.
Raiders 5 plus 5.5 or minus 5.5 is gonna be on my board this week. It is a lock. I love it. Move on. All right.
Good luck, buddy. Okay, next game, Bills Jets spread was 11.5. I think it crept up to 12.5 and then maybe closed at 10.5.
I'm disgusted at this game. It busted my parlay. Are you the safest bet busted my entire parlay?
That's how it usually happens.
That is just silly.
The injury to Josh Allen definitely is.
It didn't happen until the very end of the game though, so you can't blame it on that.
No, it was just a poor performance from the Bills.
I mean, they were still in this game. Josh Allen gets hurt.
What the dog doing?
They're down 3. I mean,
just chilling.
Yes, the Bills just had a bad game. I mean, it happens. The Jets.
Well, maybe they should have a bad game when I don't bet on them.
Hey, all I gotta say is I told you guys 80% of the money was on the Jets.
Oh.
Ticket count was high on the.
That's because New York Jets fans are retards.
that's an automatic. I know, but dude, they're what 6-2 now, 5-2,
They're legit.
6-2.
It's
And
fair.
like
They do have
they were
a
getting
decent squad.
they were getting
Good
11.5 points
defense.
at home. Like that's ridiculous. And they're a division rival. Like that was kind of so.
No,
I ended up getting that one.
Glad I didn't take spread.
Commanders and Vikings. We ended up. We talked about this a little bit. Hey Maple, you're gonna have to chill on that shit. Jeez, got a football squeaky toy. She absolutely fucking loves it. Go Colts.
Maybe she can go call some plays for him.
Yeah, she needs to be our goddamn quarterback. Vikings and Commanders was I think it was 3 whenever it closed. Yes. Elliot, I know you took the Commanders. I think me and Bradford ended up leaning Vikings. I don't think I took it as an official pick.
I didn't put any money on it, but I leaned Vikes.
I also leaned on the over on that game. I could not have been more.
Yeah. Total was 43.5 on that one. I mean, It didn't even sniff 43.5. So that ended up being a push though. Packers Lions. It was a 3.5 point spread. Packers being the favorites, obviously. Aaron Rodgers. I don't know what's going on with him. I love Aaron Rodgers. Like I really do. I think he's a good quarterback. But holy fuck, dude. Like he underthrew David Bakhtiari down there in the red zone by 10 yards. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Personally, I think Rodgers is a bad teammate. I think this goes a long way to show like how not cohesive they are. Like Devontae Adams leaves, literally Rodgers and him had a connection that was unbelievable. As soon as Adams leaves, Rodgers doesn't trust a damn person in that receiving core. So
could you?
Like,
I mean, Randall Cobb's still out, which once he comes back, that should be pretty good for him. But
you got to put a little faith into what you got there. I think
Rodgers yells at his receivers every single play. I mean,
don't think he's a good teammate. I don't think he's good for morale. I think he's a big negative when things aren't going well, and it's like a domino effect. They're just gonna keep getting worse. They're gonna implode. They've already imploded.
This was one of the happiest Sundays I've ever had watching the Packers only put up 9 points and watching the Bears put up 32 and actually be competitive against the Dolphins. I mean, watching the Packers implode like this is incredible. There is something definitely wrong. I don't know if it's coaching because Rodgers is making bad throws, and he blames it, and he has a lot of problems at wide receiver, but I don't think even if he was playing perfect the rest of the season, and if the receivers played perfect, I don't think if either one of them played perfect, they would be successful. Their defense is not as good as everybody said it's going to be. The Packers are just not a good team this year, and that's
I mean, their defense is not good at all.
No, and I mean watching them lose to the Lions is amazing. The Bears are favored against the Lions next week. The Bears are going to be favored at the end of the season. I want the Bears to win like maybe one game the rest of the season, then beat the Packers at the very end, and then go into the draft and have a high draft pick. Oh yeah.
Such a Bears fan thing to say. I want them to win one game the rest of the season, and it be against the Packers, so we can get a high draft pick. I don't mind
losing. I think losing is totally acceptable.
We're not winning this year. We're not winning this year. Get a high draft pick, and then next year we're making the playoffs, baby. It's a playoff push.
We'll see. You guys have been saying that for the past 6 years.
We have $100 million in cap space. We're going to go out, improve the offensive line, improve the defense. Justin Fields is going to be the MVP next year. Lock it in. Give me the odds. I'm taking it. Biggest bet of my life. I love it. I love it.
Give me the under.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't care what odds. Negative 8,000. I don't.
Yeah, can I get an alternate win total at under 4.5? Anyway, next game on this slate was the Chargers and Falcons. This was a tough one to watch, to be honest. Bradford, what were your thoughts on this one, bub?
The Chargers are not good. They're not good. They're very mediocre.
Hey, we do have to Keenan Allen and exactly
what I was gonna say. Bad injuries. How are you gonna air it out when two your best targets are out?
Yeah, and their defense still has. I mean, they just lost J.C. Jackson for the year a couple weeks ago, so that was a big free agent that they picked up.
Keenan Allen is. I mean, it's it's ridiculous how good he is and how underrated he is.
Yeah.
I feel like he goes
100%.
so under the radar, and when he's hurt, they just do bad.
Well, it's because
That's
he's
the
been
problem.
hurt a lot is the reason that he's
Yeah.
not upper tier guys.
He's a dog.
Exactly.
He's a dog, but he's not reliable.
He's like the one wide receiver that I will defend until my last dying breath. I love Keenan Allen.
I drafted him in fantasy. I love him. He's great.
I think he's great.
Hey, I think Falcons win that game if Big Boy doesn't fucking fumble that ball off his muffin top as he's right to the end zone with nobody fucking around him at all. Did you guys see that?
I didn't see it. I didn't watch the game.
He had the easiest scoop and score of all time. This dude, big defensive lineman dude, running with it. It fucking bounces off his fupa, and then Chargers pick it up. Literally, like him recovering it and running it back took them out of field goal range. This was towards the end of the game. Took them out of field goal range. And then next play, after they got it back, Justin Herbert throws a dart, gets them back in field goal range, and night to the Falcons. And I think Falcons lost that game in a couple ways because Khalil Mack going up, I don't know who he snagged the ball out of there on like the 4-yard line. Was it? And then he runs it back to like midfield. Like I think honestly Falcons win that game if those two things don't happen.
My second apology of the day, I should have just taken Chargers plus 2.5 or minus 2.5.
The alternate.
Yeah.
I got greedy because I thought Justin Herbert would capitalize on that terrible Falcons defense, and he clearly did not.
Well, the Chargers also have a terrible defense, so the biggest problem with the Chargers right now.
I'll take an alternate spread on Marcus Mariota any day. I'm not sorry on that one. Fuck him.
No, the Chargers need to get rid of Brandon Staley. The fact that you have Justin Herbert back there, who's shown that he is potential top 5. Not even potential. I would say he's a top 5 quarterback right now. It could, they're doing nothing with him. It's a tragedy. The Chargers are 5-3. They could very well be like 7-1.
But hey, honestly, you could say that about a lot of teams though this year.
You can't, but I'm saying with a better head coach, I could see them being 7-1 and being one of those teams that's talked about with the Chiefs, with the Bills. They would be one of those like these guys are legit. They have the quarterback. I
don't think
running
head
back. They have
coaching
wide
thing's gonna
receivers.
change that.
I think it's hard to. I think it's hard to judge them.
Seems like they've been very unlucky this year.
Yeah, I think it's hard to judge them whenever their top 2 weapons are out.
Yeah.
Also,
but
we'll see.
Daniels in that system, they're what the Dolphins are this year.
Okay, but if
I don't know.
Oh
Chargers
yeah.
don't have Tyreek Hill.
Okay.
But they have
been told to let this beer settle. Looks like somebody dropped it on the ground.
Jesus Christ, Bradford! If you're gonna be sitting here, put yourself on mute, bub.
I've already had like 5 shots in a beer.
The Chargers are going to be the team that makes the playoffs, maybe wins a game, and then loses, and everybody's like, well, they had the talent, but they just.
Well, if the talent's not there for half the year, how do you get chemistry? So
yeah, they have been very injured, but
I just think they stretch the field so well. If
yes,
Mike Williams, Keenan Allen,
Oh,
Austin Eckler are all there with Justin Herbert. They would be unstoppable in offense if they could stay healthy.
Yeah, and by the end of the season, hopefully everybody's healthy on the Chargers, and we could see them at full steam going into the playoffs.
Yeah. All right,
so
let's go to the next one.
Yeah. So next game was the Dolphins versus the Bears. Elliot, I have a massive apology for you, my friend. The Bears did not look terrible. However,
shut up.
I don't think the Dolphins' defense is nearly as good as it's going to need to be for them to be able to make a playoff run. I think Justin Fields had how many fucking rushing yards?
178. I'm going to get that tattooed right across my chest.
That's absolutely ridiculous. So,
and I'm going to shit.
I know I said minus 13.5, but that one bit me. pretty hard. That was one of my only 2 losses on the weekend was that one. So that one hurt.
I just took the straight negative, what, 5?
4.
5.5? 4.5?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? The Dolphins got to do better than that. That's just a disgrace.
They put up 35 points. I mean, their defense is just not that good. And
Defense
honestly,
got to show up.
yeah, their defense has to be better. But the toughest thing to stop in the league is a rushing QB. We see that with Lamar. Now we see that with Justin Fields somewhat. I mean, when you have a quarterback that on 3rd and 7, it's a passing down, so you drop into coverage, but he has the legs to make you have to question whether or not it's really a passing down. And I mean the Ravens have done it. The Bears, they admitted they borrowed plays from the Ravens. I think this is excellent. I think they are figuring it out. Their offense has been, I think, number 1 the past 3 weeks, and just almost all a ton of metrics right now. Their scoring, I believe the stat was 53% of their drives are ending in a score. That's highest in the league. That is absurd. And the only thing holding them back,
still losing games.
That's what I'm saying is, as long as the Bears continue to show improvement the whole season, they could. And I know I said I just wanted to win one game. In reality, I love to see them win. I love to see them be competitive. Like when they beat the Patriots the other night. Oh, 3 weeks ago, that was so fun to watch.
Who'd you say the Bears are playing next week?
Bears are playing the Lions next week. 48.5.
And that's why
that I've already.
I'm taking the Bears. They're -3, right?
3.5, somewhere in there, I think. Yeah.
I think I got them at 3 today, but I think I'm gonna take them at 3.
Brent, I got you bet on the Bears now. Oh.
Let's save our
Bears have me bet on the Bears. You didn't say shit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we just like sprinkle in a little bit of the. Well, you got
to give a preview because the odds might change by tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
So Anyway, yeah. Just sorry again to my fans for another L there.
Wait, let me check YouTube video. See how many views, how many fans we have of you, Brenton.
3.5.
Hey, real quick, if you're looking at that Bills Vikings game for this weekend, the line is continuing to move as we speak. It opened at like 7.5, and all this news keeps coming out about Josh Allen.
It's all about
down. It's down to 3.5 now. So if you like the Vikings, I would.
No, let me see what I got them at. I took them today. I took them earlier today because I knew that line was going to change.
So
let me see what I got them at.
I took them yesterday at 5.5.
I would say right now the Vikings are at the bottom of what I would take them at.
You're taking it -5.5, or you're taking +5.5, right?
Well, they're below
+5.5.
They're below 5.5, aren't they?
They're at +3.5 right now, I think.
Yeah. See,
I wouldn't do +2.5 unless Case Keenum is for sure starting.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping so. The ideal play there is because it's dropped so low. If you didn't get them at a good number, like 7 or 6, I would wait until Sunday, and hopefully like Saturday, Sunday, if Josh Allen gets announced that he's playing, that line's gonna go back up, and then I would definitely take the Vikings in. Because Josh Allen won't be at 100%, so I like that. I like playing that with that injury,
or even just taking Vikes money line.
Well, you're not at 3 points. You're not the money line numbers on that.
I've got 3.5 right now is what they're at, and
no,
I'd rather take the plus money on a close game like that because
the Bills' defense is very good, and I think their rushing attack has been very, very good this year. The Vikings' defense has not been good. I definitely see a world where it's a super low scoring game, and it just ends up that the Bills rush for 150 and 2 touchdowns or something like that. So
we shall see. We shall see.
It's definitely a prove it game for the Vikings, though. They're 6-1 or 7-1 now.
Kirko Chains is going off, boys.
Yeah, 7-1.
Dude's a dog.
If they don't either.
I did not know he was ripped like that. Dude's shredded.
Bro, he got an 8-pack.
I thought he was fucking like Peyton Manning, like quarterback. Oh, this dude is.
My question is, how does everybody in the world just not know that Kirk Cousins was shredded? Have we never seen him?
Never seen him with his shirt off, bro.
Well, every time you see Kirk Cousins, he has the big rib pads on, so everybody's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this fat piece
Or he
of
looks
shit
like he's
fat
can't
as
play in
hell.
prime time."
after the in the press conference. He's got the button-up flannel with the khakis on.
Yeah.
He's ready to sell you insurance or go to a fish fry.
All right, so let's finish out this 1:00 slate real quick. We had the Raiders Jags line was 1.5 for the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders are on my list of teams that I absolutely can't bet on for the rest of the entire year.
I'm not touching them.
Dude, they are the most inconsistent team of all time. They were up 20-0 was at half or just before half, and then the Jaguars end up putting, was it 24 straight or 27 straight up on them?
27.
I think it was 27.
It was 17-0 at halftime, and then they ended up putting up like 24, I think, and then the Raiders made a field goal or something. But yeah, it's something like that.
I mean, against the Jaguars, bro. Like the Raiders had, I honestly was pretty high on the Raiders to start the season. Obviously, they made a bunch of moves, like getting Josh McDaniels. I thought was going to help Derek Carr out, but holy fuck, dude, the Raiders are absolutely trash.
I will root for them because I have Derek Carr and Devontae Adams on my fantasy team. However, I will not touch them with any money that I possess.
Not at all. Yeah, not at all. That game kind of sucked.
Maybe against them.
Yeah.
Actually, but that's even risky too. They could pop off.
Did you guys see the stat that the Raiders have blown 3 17-point leads?
Yeah.
And what is it? There's like 2 in their whole history, the whole Raiders history or something like that. They've done that.
They suck.
Oh, it's absurd. The Jaguars also were like 1 and 105 when they're down by like 17 points. I mean, it was just the Raiders are just awful. They don't do anything correct. Josh Jacobs was running the ball like a madman at the beginning of the season, but I don't know what happened. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Josh McDaniels, if he loses the Colts this week, I think he gets. I mean, he.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Have you seen Jeff Saturday put out a tweet like 2 weeks ago that the Raiders are
the worst team I've ever seen.
Horrible.
Yes, that's so
Dude,
funny.
If they get blown out by the Raiders this weekend, he is going to get demolished on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely obliterated.
Yeah. I mean,
geez.
This is I mean, this game is going to be awful next weekend. I think it's just going to be just terrible football. But there's something that's going to be so entertaining about watching Jeff Saturday on the sideline have no idea what to do. He's just going to stand there. Like, he may not.
He's going to be like,
"Hey,
did your parents sign the permission slip, boys?"
Hey,
like,
no, hold on. I think I think people are grossly underestimating the amount of football smarts that Jeff Saturday actually has.
I'm sure he has plenty. But being a head coach is completely different from being.
It must be difficult to go.
I don't know.
Oh, what's the snap count? Hut?
Bro, he played for Peyton Manning. Like, he played for one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. You're telling me he didn't have to know every fucking thing that was going on in that offense?
As long as he knew what the snap count was, did he ever pull? Was he a pulling center? No.
No, but he sets the protection.
Yeah.
The center sets the protection for everybody. So, like, he's
got
to know what the fuck is going on.
Well, like, the quarterback's, like,
he's the quarterback of the offensive line.
No, Jeff Saturday's up there telling guys, where the blitz coming from.
The quarterback's the quarterback.
Alrighty.
Shut the fuck up, Bradford. All right, next game. We had, which I hate to say it, but I saw this one coming. Bengals in a blowout against the Panthers. Line was at 7.5. I mean, that must have been the biggest kick in the dick to you on Bradford or on Sunday, Bradford. That had to absolutely
blew my whole cock off. I was watching on like the ESPN app, and I was like, yeah, for sure, 7.5 is pretty solid. And then like 10 minutes into the game, it's fucking 21-0, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cash in.
Yeah. 3 Joe Mixon touchdowns later.
I ended up cashing in for 5 cents just to save some money. Or cashing out. I was like, I'll never do it, but I'm like, are you kidding me? They're down 45-0.
Yeah, that was.
Well, it wasn't that bad.
Cash out.
That was.
They still gave me 5 cents, dog.
FanDuel, you're losing 5 cents, homie. What you doing?
Why would they let me? They should have locked it. They didn't think I'd do it, but I did it.
Oh, also, can there be any cooler celebration than Joe Mixon, like after his 5th touchdown, counting to 5 in the end zone?
I absolutely love that.
Oh,
I love it every time a player does it. Like whenever Kelsey, and I think it was a Sunday night or Monday night game, ended up scoring 4 touchdowns.
Scored 4.
They pan the camera to Mahomes and he's 1, 2, 3, 4, and like doing all. I fucking love it. Like
maybe Joe Mixon should count the number of times he's gonna get hurt in the next few years, because it'd be fucking astronomical.
He's been healthy recently. I mean, he was healthy all last year, I think.
He's made out of glass.
There's something cool about 4 touchdowns. You gotta admit, the full 5 though. There's just something that hits different about that though.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Are we done with the 1 o'clock slate? We ready to move on to the afternoon?
Yeah, that game was stupid.
Yeah.
Go on.
And hey.
5-star.
5-star came through, baby. How we doing? Keep it moving. Seahawks Cardinals -2 was the spread for the Cardinals. I mean, once again, I hate to say I said it, but I fucking said it, boys. Like,
I think you and everybody else in the world was like, why are they dogs?
Not everybody else though. Like everybody was on the Cardinals.
Yeah.
No, I had Hawks in my in my parlay. But
we were on the Seahawks. A lot of the public was on the Cardinals.
I was pretty sure. Yeah, I figured they would cover. And
Call of Duty came out, my brother. What are you
nobody
doing?
cares about that.
Kyler Murray's 0-2 since Call of Duty came out. And he's also
they see Kyler Murray versus Geno Smith, and they take Kyler Murray. That's how it works.
Also, Kyler was a non-participant in practice today, so I don't know if you saw that information, Brenton, before you made that trade to my dad, but
yikes.
Yeah. So Kyler is dealing.
Hey, hold on. We can't just say that. Oh, backstory: Bradford just.
Bradford traded for Kyler in our fantasy league. And he was a non-participant in practice today. Let me check. I think it was a hip.
I don't care. I do not care. Kyler is a top 6 fantasy QB. I didn't say he's going to win games. I'm not here for fantasy wins.
Hamstring injury. Yeah.
All right.
I did not know he got hurt though in practice today, so that is news.
He didn't get hurt in practice. He just didn't participate because of a hamstring. Does he realize that he might be the problem? Like,
yeah, I think Kyler is going to quickly find out that everybody fucking hates him.
Oh, they do not like. He's not a great teammate either.
Yeah, so
when you're not winning games, it's difficult to be the quarterback who runs around for 80 yards in the backfield and then does something dumb. So,
however, he's a great Warzone teammate.
Dude's telling everybody his loadouts in the huddle.
Guys, have you tried the SPR yet? It is nuts.
All right, so last game of the early Sunday slate before we get into Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football was possibly the biggest stinker of the weekend. I mean, we saw this one coming. 2 teams that have been absolutely terrible all year. They ended up putting 30 points up in total, if that.
29.
I think it was 16-13. So
what a score.
We're obviously talking about the Bucks Rams. Bucks were -2.5 going in. No, they were -3 going into that game. I think Elliott got them at -2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that game was absolutely terrible up until about the last minute and a half. And I mean, Tom Brady did it again, but I don't think those 2 teams are going to be able to do anything the rest of the season. Matthew Stafford's in concussion protocol. Like that just came out today. So who knows if he'll play.
Hey, also some backstory. Brenton also has Matthew Stafford in our fantasy league.
Had a baby.
But I won't blow Kyler's in. God damn it. You guys are dropping knowledge on me that I did not know.
I did not know he was in concussion protocol. When did that happen today?
Not a few hours ago, so.
I'll break your neck.
Yeah,
you better play Stafford, you bitch.
That game ended up being a push, obviously. Nobody deserved to win that game. Those teams both absolutely suck. Not a whole lot else to say about them. Bucks are minus 2.5 in Germany this weekend against the Seahawks. I'm not putting it out as an official pick right now, but I'm obviously leaning towards taking the Seahawks again.
It's crazy. I will say they keep making the Seahawks dogs.
I don't want to put money on the Hawks, but I would take them if I had to.
It's almost an obligation at this point.
I think I got to put money on the Hawks.
There was something that came out. I don't know if it's 100% real or not, but Kenneth Walker may or may not have a passport. He's kind of running into some trouble with that. So who knows? Like the running back Kenneth Walker.
Kenneth Walker?
Yeah. So I'm sure they'll probably get it figured out. So he'll be able to play, but that was something that came out. I don't know if it's
Elliot, do you want to trade? Like I'll buy Kenneth Walker for something.
No, because he's my best player right now, I think.
Let's do live trade talks right now.
Geez, yeah, that's.
Anyway, yeah, real stinker of a game.
I'm currently on Reddit right now. Okay, here's a tweet. Yeah, Kenneth Walker III currently doesn't have a passport, in which is jeopardizing his chances to play this Sunday in Munich, Germany. I'm told. I have my doubts that the Seahawks would start the season and say, that seems like just a poor. That should have been day one stuff. Like, hey, we have a game in Germany. Like, let's all get our passports.
Let's go right now and get a pass.
You would think having him as a starting running back on your football team, and you know that you have to
take the season though.
Yeah, but he was going to be at least second string.
Yeah.
Oh well, so
seems like
we'll get that figured out.
Yeah, that seems dumb. That'll be interesting.
So, moving on to the Sunday night game, it was a 12.5 point spread, I believe. Titans. Chiefs.
I think it actually got up higher than that. I think it closed 14 with Malik Willis being announced.
Really?
I'll tell you.
So obviously that did not cover on that one. That was honestly, I fell asleep in the third quarter during that game because
closed at 14.
It was quite boring to watch, to be honest. But I ended up watching the highlights, and the fourth quarter and overtime was pretty entertaining.
Pat Mahomes had 446 yards passing.
He also
couldn't get the ball in the end zone.
That's ridiculous for somebody who only scored 20 points.
Yeah.
Well, the Titans defense is pretty legit. I don't know how Mike Vrabel does it, but dude is a good head coach.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to 12.5 point spread with Vrabel being the coach. I don't know if I could ever do that, but some people did it, and those people lost.
Yeah.
Last game of the Week 9 slate was the Baltimore Ravens absolutely murdering.
Should have taken the alternate spread.
Holy fuck. Yeah, that should have been the minus 13.5 play right there.
Oh, Jesus.
Bradford, go ahead. What? I mean,
fun game to watch for me as a Ravens fan.
Fun game to watch for me whenever I had them minus 2.5.
Well, and this is my only dub of the week. You know you can rock with me. I got one. But also at the end of the game, I was sweating it real bad because my fantasy team consisted of Lamar Jackson versus the Ravens defense and Justin Tucker, and I needed the Saints to score to drop the Ravens defense down just a tad so I could win, and it happened. I got the dub, and it was a good game. Easy dub for the Ravens. Lamar needs to show up in the passing game though. He's really dropping the ball there. Kenyon Drake showed out with 93 yards.
Oh
So
yeah,
that was a good
pickup.
was not bad.
I mean,
Gus will be back soon, but
what's up with J.K. Dobbins?
He's on IR.
Jesus Christ, that
I've got him on my
healthy.
stash on it. Exactly. Chris Olave is a real issue though. I think he's going to be a real problem. I think the Saints are gonna ship Michael Thomas sometime.
I wouldn't be surprised. He can't stay healthy, and I mean, he's wanting a
I
pretty
feel
penny,
like if you
obviously. So.
want to stay healthy, you can. I just don't think he appreciates the Saints.
No, he just. I mean, like I said last week, Brian Robinson got shot in the leg, and he missed 4 games.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly. It's all on Michael Thomas. Like,
well, and I think
sometimes
the
it's a
Saints,
mindset
yeah,
the Saints would
coming
be
from a
fine.
non-pro athlete.
The Saints would be fine without him too, because they got Olave, who's going to be good, and he's still on a rookie contract, and they got Jarvis, and I'm pretty sure they got him for pretty cheap.
yeah.
So like, and they got Kamara, so I think the Saints will be okay. I think Saints got Pittsburgh this weekend. Again, an unofficial
I
pick,
think they get a
but
dub on that. Yeah.
I don't know, dude. Is Andy Dalton the worst quarterback of all time?
No.
He's better than damn Kenny Pickett.
Bro, he got his
Curtis
head separated from his body and then came back whenever Calais Campbell and was it Justin Houston absolutely fucking lit him up.
Yeah.
It was
Justin
literally
Houston was on a tear.
Yeah.
bro, yeah, I don't know why the Colts ever
Career renaissance.
I was really mad whenever the Colts got rid of Justin Houston, to be honest, because he was really good on their defensive line.
Oh, and Ravens got Tyus Bowser back, showed up a little bit in that game too. So, I mean, the pieces are coming together on that defense, and of course Roquan Smith, great pickup. I mean, the defense is just getting better at this point. We're getting healthier.
That run that it was just him that absolutely stuffed him at like I think maybe the guy got like 1 yard, but then Roquan just comes up and seals the hole, absolutely takes his head off. Like that was what you brought him in for, and the Bears are kicking themselves once again. I mean,
exactly.
Oh, we're not. We're doing just fine.
We're doing just fine. We only lost by a total. We only lost by a total of 60 points in the last 2 games. It's fine. It's fine.
The Cowboys had a fluke game. We're not looking to make the playoffs this year. We're looking to build and win a Super Bowl. Go Bears!
Loser mindset.
Yeah. We'll see. All right. So,
Matt, you
sound like a robot right now.
You're tweaking out right now. You're tweaking out.
I will say what he was trying to say. That was our Week 9 recap. We'll be recapping Week 10 tomorrow. But before we leave, we're going to do a UFC preview because we are big fans of UFC here. And
look at him tweaking over there.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Matt.
Is my mic working now?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's a lot better. It was like crackling and shit.
Yeah, I got you.
So we got ourselves a UFC preview for this weekend. Big card. Brenton, we're gonna leave this to you. Give us your summary, and we'll chime in when we feel like it.
Try to make it quick,
absolutely love to. I put this together last week and this week. It's a great card. Obviously, I'm a huge Israel Adesanya hater. So, UFC 281.
Really?
Oh, hate
no
that
wonder. No wonder.
Most boring fighter. Most boring fighter in the UFC.
Oh,
most boring fighter in the UFC.
Shut the fuck up.
Knows how to make a fight boring.
Continue.
Yeah.
Anyway,
knockouts are also the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Let's not even get on that. Let's just get to the fights. So we've got.
Hey, hold on. Hey, real quick, before people get to this UFC part and shut us down and absolutely tune out for the rest of it because they don't give a shit, which is totally fine. Do you?
It's not fine.
I mean, people don't care about UFC sometimes. We love it, but some people
UFC.
don't. Real quick, tomorrow we will have Week 10 preview for you. Give you guys all the picks, and then I think this weekend we should dabble into some college football.
We want to cover college football tomorrow?
Just a little bit. Cover the main games.
Okay. I think there's a couple good games on the slate. Let me look.
For sure.
So just something to look for. That'll be coming out tomorrow or Friday early. All right, back to UFC talk. Go ahead.
Real quick. Matt, I will look at the matchups this weekend, and I'll drop a couple of the bigger games in the group chat so we can have a slate put together. So
It sounds good.
sounds good.
We'll figure out something.
All right, Brenton, take it away.
All right, fellas. So I'll start from the bottom down. Obviously, the least exciting fights.
Here we go.
First fight, we've got Andre Petrosky, a DWCS Dana White Contender Series vet versus Wellington Turman. Sounds like a fucking royal family.
Yeah, gotta be honest.
Guy.
Never heard of Wellington Turman. Who the fuck is this dude?
So I'm gonna take Andre Petrosky here in this matchup, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna take him. I think it's probably gonna go over 1.5 rounds. Petrosky showed a pretty good gas tank in the UFC. And
you don't think? Hey, you don't think he has enough to get him out in round one?
I just think he's got a good enough gas tank. He doesn't mind taking it further. I think he's got great cardio. I think he's well rounded either way. Whether I don't know much about Wellington.
I was gonna say, do we know anything about this other dude?
So I really don't know, but I would bet on 1.5 rounds. I would probably say over. It was at negative 144 this morning, and I would just guess that if it got into the latter rounds, Petrosky could submit him, even knock him out. I wouldn't take any. They haven't released any method of victories yet. But Petrosky's good on the feet. He's good on the ground. I think he's just good all over. I think he gets it done. We'll move on to.
I'll ride with you on that. I think
Aaron Blanchfield.
Go ahead. Real quick before we get off that one. So Petrosky right now money line is minus 230. I think that's a little steep to just.
I wouldn't take that straight, but
yeah, I think it's a little steep to take him straight up. If you like a method of victory that comes out, maybe look at that. But honestly, I would look at just throwing him into what I did was a money line parlay.
Maybe a parlay. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
All right, go ahead.
So next one we got Aaron Blanchfield versus Molly McCann. Honestly, never heard of Aaron Blanchfield before.
Molly's a dog.
There is Molly McCann is the biggest underdog on the card right now. And there is no way Dana White is throwing one of the fucking money makers. It's all on the UFC England shit. Everybody wants Patty to win, everyone wants Molly to win, everyone wants fucking these English
everybody
fighters, they're exciting. Tom Aspinall. We got Paul Craig.
Darren Till.
They love him. There's no way he's setting Molly up for a potential title fight. There's no way Molly loses this. I think she is grossly underrated at plus 310. Is what I saw this morning.
She's plus 320 now.
I would hammer that money line.
That's wild.
Because her last 2 fights have been finished by spinning back fist.
She's electric to watch. She is absolutely electric
crazy.
to watch.
And then she gets hammered after her fight. She's gonna be hammered by the next fight. She's gonna be drinking.
The thing is, though, she doesn't. It's not like it's a boring fight to watch where she just pieces them up the whole time. Like, she has a chin and she's taking some shots too. Like,
no, she's awesome.
It's fun.
And I would say I would lean the over 2.5 rounds in this one, just because it is a woman's what is it, featherweight or it's a not featherweight. It's a woman's flyweight. Is it bantamweight?
Probably flyweight.
Flyweight. I think you're right. I think it's flyweight. I would lean that. I would lean the over on that, but I could easily see Molly McCann getting a split decision or even a unanimous decision victory. So money line is pretty juicy at 310.
Yeah, I like that.
Elliot, anything to weigh in on there?
No. You're all good. Keep going.
Okay. Next fight, we've got a pretty big one in the light heavyweight division. Awesome that it's on the prelims. It's kind of insane that it's on the prelims. It's a number 7 Dominic Reyes versus number 12 Ryan Spann.
I know. Hey, I thought if this was gonna be on the prelims, I thought they would at least put it as like the the main event of the prelim card.
I mean, you would think.
But honestly, the card's pretty stacked. So
I mean, the next fight though is pretty good too. So
yeah, go ahead.
I think Dominic Reyes. I thought he won against John Jones. He should have been light heavyweight champion. I've watched that fight 3 or 4 times. I think it easily could have went Dominic Reyes' way.
I would agree.
But since then, he has been knocked out by Yuri Prohaska. He's been knocked out by that was a bad one. He was knocked out first by Jan Blachowicz, and he hasn't fought in what, a year now? Is it almost a year and a half?
It's been close.
So he's been knocked out twice and hasn't had a winning fight in over 2 years because John Jones he lost. I think Ryan Spann, from what I've seen, I like Ryan Spann. I like him by KO. What the dog doing? I like Ryan Spann by KO in this one. I just think Dominic Reyes was overhyped. I think he was catapulted into the spotlight too quickly. And I think Ryan Spann has some real power in his hands, and they're putting they're putting Dominic Reyes up against another heavy hitter after getting knocked out twice.
Plus 196 too on Spann. That's pretty good.
And I know there's no method of victory released either, so I don't really even. I mean, I would take him by KO. I think Reyes is going to be just timid. I think it's going to be hard for him to get back in the win column.
So they have a method of victory out right now. Ryan Spann by KO TKO is plus 420.
Is that on FanDuel?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that must have dropped just today then, because I did this this morning. Well, Daddy's going to go put some money on that one.
Yeah.
Is that all on that one?
Yes.
I'll say I like the under on that one. I think those guys are going to go at it. Dominic Reyes always comes out and puts on a show. I don't think he puts on a boring fight, so I would go under. I think that one's going to get finished either way. Last fight on the prelims, your what do you call that?
What do you mean, like?
No, they call it something. They're like, oh, you're like featured bout on the prelims. So you got Brad Riddell, city kickboxing boy with Izzy, and against Renato Moicano. I like Brad Riddell in this one. I think he's got great striking. It's a very close call. I think Renato Moicano is a great fighter. I just think he's more of a grappler, but Moicano, you're not going to get him out of there in 3 rounds. He was finished by, was it Dos Anjos? But that was in a 5-round fight. I just don't think you're going to get Renato Moicano out of there. So I really like the over of 2.5 rounds. I think this one's going to be a decision just because of the toughness of Moicano.
What's that at?
It's at -118. I mean, it's almost a pick 'em.
I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
But I do like Brad Riddell's actually the underdog at plus 104. And I think I like that too. Like city kickboxing just is great at winning decisions. Shout out Izzy. They love winning boring fights.
Captain Leg Kick.
So Brad Riddell is now he's still the underdog, but it is now -104 instead of plus 104. Isn't much of a difference, but
right. I don't know. I like Brad Riddell in that fight. I think it's gonna go all 3 rounds because Moicano is just not gonna back down.
I like it. All right. On to the pay-per-view.
Onto the main card, whether you're streaming illegally or actually buying it.
When we don't streaming illegally. Let's make that clear.
Definitely do not do that. I love Dana White. Sorry, I'm trying to put my money down on Ryan Spann right now. Because I didn't know the method of victories came out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Anyway,
The
first
line
fight
is
on the main card, we got Dan Hooker, number 12, versus Claudio Puelles. Dan Hooker
Dan,
in his first fight
hey,
back since he went down to went down to featherweight and got absolutely pieced by Arnold Allen. Matt, go ahead.
real quick, the line on this one: Dan Hooker minus 172, Claudio plus 134.
Okay, yep, that's pretty similar to what I got from this morning.
Okay.
So Dan Hooker returning after getting absolutely pieced up in a lower weight class. I think Dan probably cut too much weight.
55? Is this one at 55?
This is back at lightweight because he dropped down to go to Arnold Allen and got clobbered. Like, holy shit. I actually like Dan Hooker in this fight. I think this is a very advantageous matchup. Dan Hooker is super long, super rangy, great striker, decent grappler, has a few submissions in his arsenal. Claudio Puelles is mostly a submission artist. I'm sure he's not going to be looking to strike or even get into Muay Thai range with Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker's a beast. And I just think Dan Hooker's defense on the takedowns is just going to be too much for Puelles to handle. I like Dan Hooker money line. I don't really know about KO TKO because Hooker has that submission background in him too, so I wouldn't put it on any one thing, but I do like Dan Hooker money line, and I like it under 2.5 rounds. I think he'll get the job done. Cool. I think Puelles is going to find himself shooting a lot of takedowns and not getting them and gassing.
Under 2.5 right now, minus 130. Pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Elliot, anything on that one?
No, I haven't bet any of these. I think the only one I'm gonna end up on is Alex. That's Alex Pereira main event. That's what I'm looking forward to most.
Okay, yeah, just put some money down on Ryan Spann. So next fight, we got Frankie Edgar's retirement fight versus Chris Gutierrez.
Yeah, after he got his face restructured after the last fight.
He got clobbered by Cheeto, and before that, he got clobbered by Sandhagen. I've got it in here. He's been finished in 3 of his last 4 fights. I can't remember who he got the win against Pedro Munoz in a decision win in a 5-round fight in a main event. I can't remember who finished him before Cheeto and Corey.
Who are we talking about?
We're talking about Frankie.
Didn't he get his face kicked off by
Cheeto?
Oh, no, never mind.
Yeah,
never mind.
No,
never mind.
He got front kicked by Cheeto.
You're
thinking Dominic Cruz.
I was thinking Michael Chandler, Tony Ferguson.
Oh, fair enough. So anyway, Frankie's been finished in 3 of his last 4 fights. The other one went to decision. He beat Pedro Munoz, who's kind of mid, honestly, in the division. Versus Chris Gutierrez. Gutierrez has some real power in his hands. I think Frankie's chin is gone. I think Gutierrez gets it done by KO TKO. I don't think this is a happy ending for Frankie.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I'm gonna go on the under 2.5 rounds is plus 122 too. If you want to do that. I think that's a good one. Gutierrez by KO TKO is plus 195.
I like the under 2.5 better than I like a method, to be honest.
Fair. I would agree with that statement, but I think Gutierrez is gonna get it done.
Yep.
Sadly, I love Frankie Edgar, but.
Ooh. All right. Next we have the people's bout.
The people's main event. I mean, honestly, they should have traded. They should have jumped this to the front of the line. Fuck the other 2 fights. We want these. This Dustin Poirier versus Michael Chandler Need I say more? I feel like it's disrespectful if I describe it.
Couple of
So,
dogs.
so Michael Chandler's coming off what? The Tony Ferguson win?
Tony Ferguson dub.
And then
Before that was Charles Oliveira.
Poirier's coming off the Charles Oliveira loss.
Correct.
So, honestly, I think Chandler just had the highlight of all highlights by making Tony Ferguson's face melt as he kicked it. And Poirier's coming off another title loss. I like Poirier to finish this one.
I read a stat today that was Dustin Poirier has never lost 2 in a row in the UFC.
I like that.
He's not lost 2 in a row, and he's fighting in a very favorable matchup, I believe, in Michael Chandler. Michael relies on that speed and power. Poirier relies on that counter striking and boxing.
Yep.
And he's disgusting with it. Like Chandler, or not Chandler. Gaethje. When he fought Gaethje, Gaethje was piecing him up a little bit. Once Poirier caught on, Gaethje went to the dumps in 30 seconds. He was done.
Yeah. I think as long as Poirier gets past like the first 2.5, 3 minutes, because Chandler's gonna put him on him as soon as the bell rings, he's gonna go. So I think as long as he doesn't get caught with something after the first 2-3 minutes, I think it's a done deal that Poirier wins that fight.
I'll say I saw Michael Chandler. Somebody asked Michael Chandler, "Is like, hey, are you like going to put on a show, or are you trying to win this fight?" And Chandler was like, "No, I'm trying to win. He wants a title shot." I think Chandler's going to try to wrestle a little bit.
Really? I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Actually, he hasn't really shown much wrestling in the UFC, so I can see that happening, to be honest.
He did try to take down Gaethje, and he got him. He dumped him, but Gaethje did a roll out of it.
Right.
I like the over 1.5 rounds in this one because it seems like Chandler might try to play it safe. And I actually like Poirier by points.
Yep, I like
on this one, just because I think Chandler's going to try to get the dub so he can get himself in the title shot picture against Makhachev. I like Poirier, but I like Poirier by points in this one.
So method of victory, Poirier by points is plus 390.
Oh, I got him at 350 this morning.
So it's
it's gone up.
It's up to plus 390. I like the double chance option of Dustin Poirier by KO, TKO, or on points at minus 165.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think you can still might consider parlaying that together just because
I think that's a good one.
You have to lay a little over $1.50, but still minus 165 is pretty good compared to minus 230 on the money line.
No, that's actually really nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so Elliot, anything on that one? You good?
No, I think that'll be an exciting fight. Definitely could see it go.
I think it will be too.
Easily going to be the best fight of the night. It goes 3 rounds, and I'll say it's going to be the opposite of Gaethje Chandler, where both guys are going to knock each other's heads off.
Yep.
See, the problem with and Gaethje Chandler went 3 rounds. They went the full distance. Gaethje doesn't give a fuck. He's throwing everything into whatever he's got. Mm-hmm. So Poirier is a little more calculated. I think it goes the full amount of time, but it's going to be a damn war for sure.
Yeah, I agree. All right, on to the co-main event. We got, is this a strawweight bout?
Yes, strawweight.
So we got the champion Carla Esparza going up against Zhang Wei Li. The champion is plus 285 in this. Zhang Wei Li at a minus 400. Brenton, what are your thoughts, bud?
I think Carla Esparza is barely champ.
I think
less of a champ than Aldo is. Aljo's a fake champ.
That Rose fight was
horrid.
That was the worst fight of all time.
It was the worst. I would have rather pulled my toenails out and boiled them and eaten them in a soup than watch that fight again.
Saw something on Twitter the other day. So UFC, like the YouTube account, uploaded the full Esparza Rose fight, and it had like 14K views or something like that. Somebody screenshotted that and tweeted it. He said, 14K people need to get a life.
Yeah, that went 5 rounds and probably, 50 strikes were thrown the entire time?
I don't even think
it was not good.
No, it was the worst. It was terrible.
Yeah. I mean, I still wish Rose was champ. I think she'll get another opportunity.
No, she deserved it after doing that.
Maybe after Zhang Weili absolutely beats the shit out of Carla Esparza this weekend, she'll get another shot, but
yeah, I don't know. I love Zhang.
Go ahead.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, I think Zhang gets this done early, and I think she gets it done easy. I think she can stuff any takedown Carla sends at her, and I think she knocks her ass out soon.
Zhang Weili by KO TKO is plus 125 right now.
Yeah.
Zhang Weili on the double chance, Zhang Weili by KO TKO or submission is minus 110.
I like the KO TKO. You know, Zhang likes to strike. And
yeah.
That's plus 125, obviously not the best odds there. I also like the under 4.5 rounds at plus 106. I think she's going to finish her.
Whoa,
they had it at 4.5 this morning is what I...
Yeah, so right now the total on rounds is still 4.5. The under is at minus 110, though. I would hammer the under. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I think the under is going to cash easy.
Yeah, same.
So, I guess we'll move on to the main event.
The main event of the evening.
What everybody wants to see.
We got Izzy at minus 210 right now, and Alex Pereira at plus 162.
Boys, I'm an Izzy hater. I'll say it out loud. He's the most boring fighter in the UFC. There's no more boring main event than an Izzy fight. Because whenever you don't bring it to him, he just stands around and kicks your legs and throws jabs, and it's boring. And if you do bring it to him, then he's a great counter striker. So what are you going to do? I think Alex Pereira is going to bring it to him. But as we all know, Alex Pereira has beat him twice already.
I thought it was once.
Twice. He beat him by decision in kickboxing. He beat him by knockout in kickboxing.
Gotcha.
And I've watched that knockout at least a dozen times.
So, if I were a real betting man, instead of better with my heart, I would probably take Izzy at minus 188 is what I had here.
Yes, minus 210 now.
Minus 210. Those are still probably the best odds we've seen since Paulo Costa when he fought Paulo Costa, because everybody thought Paulo Costa was going to walk through him. Clearly that didn't happen.
Oh,
if I was a real betting man, I would take Izzy, and I'd probably take Izzy in a parlay, maybe even Izzy by decision. I don't think anybody's getting knocked. I don't think Izzy's going to knock him out.
Yeah.
But if I'm betting with my heart, I'm going to take Pereira, and I'm going to take him by KO at plus 280 is what I had him at.
I mean, that would be awesome to see.
I want to see it.
After seeing
and if I don't see it,
by...
I'll see you guys, because I will not be on the podcast, because I will have killed
So, I got a 4-legger right now that's sitting at plus 537. We got under 4.5 for the Zhang Weili Carla Esparza fight. Dustin Poirier by either KO TKO or on points. Chris Gutierrez moneyline and Andre Petrosky moneyline. That's plus 530. If you want to add Israel Adesanya to that, that gives you up to plus 840. And then if you add Molly to that, Meatball Molly, that gives you up to plus 3,800.
Ooh.
I kind of like it.
Well,
Is that a
I kinda
5-star,
like
5-star,
it.
5-star?
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot to ask. That's a 6-legger right there, but at almost plus 3,900, it's hard not to take.
Yeah.
Elliot, anything?
No, I think the fights are going to be good this weekend. I'm excited. I think Brenton and I will be together to watch that.
Very
So,
excited.
very fun. All right, well, I think that'll wrap it up for us today. We went pretty long today, but that's all right.
Sorry, gang.
I'm sure everybody quit listening after the NFL review. Well, actually, all 4 of our listeners quit listening after the NFL review. But we'll be back tomorrow with the NFL preview. Yep, love it. Week 10, here we go, baby. And with that, I think we'll call it. Thank you, guys.
See you, boys.
All right. Ciao, ciao.